Welcome back to Fairfax Pilates. I'm Brittany, and today's class is Mat Pilates, full body workout with some intermediate exercises sprinkled in. So go ahead and get yourselves ready and let's begin. We are going to begin today's workout from a supine position. So you're going to scoop the tail under and round until you're on your back. Glide the heels in close to your tail, and we're going to begin with just some imprint and releases. Let's begin by scooping the tail under and pressing the low back to the mat, and then release the pelvis. Moving right into our hip opener, you're going to allow the leg to fall wide, straighten, and then drag it in. Rotate the knee out and then turn that whole thigh in. 3 per direction. Rotate in, leg is straight, turn it out and drag it back. 3 in each side. Now other leg, out and return. Externally rotate, slide the leg out and then drag it back. Once we do 3, we're going to reverse internal and straight, and then external, and then bring it back in. Once we've done those 3, we're going to lift our legs to tabletop and get a spine twist, just allowing both knees to fall towards one side of the mat. Find a nice, easy, rhythmic breath as you begin warming your body here with rotations side to side. And then we're going to place our feet down. Let's take one leg in towards the upper body and start with one-legged circles. So the opposite knee can be bent so that you have the most mobility through the lower back. Let's take a nice big circle around, crossing that midline and then finishing back up to the top. Hold the leg in and just enjoy a brief hamstring stretch. Point and flex the foot, and then we're going to change leg. So the other leg is vertical. Start these large circles. Just getting the rest of the body to be somewhat stable and allow that pelvis to just move around just easy with the moving leg. Warming up that pelvis and all the muscles attached to it. And then pause by just enjoying that hamstring stretch with a point and a flex of the foot before we bend the knee and we place the foot back down on the ground. A little bit of side to side here, hugging the knees into the chest to massage the lower back. And then let's do a few of those forward and back rolls, just again mobilizing the lumbar spine and also getting that lovely little massage. Let's get those legs straight out in front, arms up, and then we just hinge forward and reach our hands for our feet. Just take note of how limber you do or don't feel at this point before we begin. And then we're going to just roll our way all the way back down to the mat. Open the feet and send one leg over to cross over the ankle and enjoy a lateral bend. And then send the opposite foot over and laterally stretch to the opposite side, of course. All right, so let's go ahead and flip over so we are now prone onto our bellies. And let's just enjoy a nice little hip flexor and quadricep stretch as you grab your foot, making sure that your knee aligns with its hip, and then drive the pelvis into the mat. So both hip bones and the pubic bone press down as you gently hold on to the foot. If you can't quite reach the foot, feel free to use a prop like a ring or a small towel around the foot. All right, from here, go ahead and give yourself a nice push up to the top, and then we're going to bend the knees for a little cat stretch here, just rounding the spine. We're going to hover the knees and just warm up the legs. Shift the hips back over the heels and then weight transfer over the wrists. You'll notice that this engages not only, of course, the shoulders, but also the quads, and your abdominals should be nice and warm as they support this moving modified plank. This is almost like a knee stretch if you were on the reformer. And then let's just stay that hover, and we're going to cat and cow here. So just keeping those legs warm and just round through the low back and then find neutral, and then again flex and neutral. Just get everything heated up here before we begin our workout. And then go ahead and just shift back, a small spine stretch there. We call that shell stretch here. And then we are going to start seated. All right, so we have our feet about hip distance in front. Okay, from here we're gonna stay and we're curling to roll back, and then we return vertical. So I've got my hands gently behind the thighs here to really facilitate the lumbar mobility. We're curling the tail under and returning. And then let's do the same with those legs in a tabletop. My legs are hip distance apart to allow for the maximum amount of mobility in the lower back. Around, and then we find that length. Try again with straight legs. This is a modified version of layering into open leg rocker. We just scoop. I love it for the low back mobility. Scoop the tail under and then make your way all the way down onto your back. Leg up to tabletop, hands support the head, and we begin with a single leg stretch. So the upper body is fixed, okay? And we're just moving those legs tabletop and long and tabletop and long. Find a nice rhythmic breath here. We're gonna get about 8 per side, and then we're gonna rotate for that bicycle. Shoulder to opposite hip, or if you think even more, rib to opposite hip. Just really exactly where the obliques are, from the hip to the opposite side of the rib cage. And then let's take double leg stretch. Head and shoulders lift, arms and feet long, and then circle around to that tabletop. We want to keep the upper body barely hovering so we have that upper flexion in the upper thoracic. Inhale and exhale around. Lengthen and pull it in. Notice I don't tuck my knees all the way in. We're going to do the scissor stretch here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Think about bringing that leg toward the chest versus grabbing the leg and pulling it in. We're really using the abdominals here and also the hip flexors to get that leg to the hands. Set the head and shoulders down, and then we're just going to flex forward. Legs vertical, and just encourage that upper body flexion here. Exhale, forward, inhale, return. If your hip flexors are screaming, do a lateral rotation of the legs. All right, so we've got 1 tabletop, 1 long leg. We're gonna do 4 here with our legs only moving as a team. Then we hover and we do 4 again while we're in that upper curl. 3 and 4, and now 4 where you put the head and the feet moving in at the same time. So 1, 2, 3 layers of difficulty here. Pick the one that suits you in terms of your goals and your abilities. Of course, the other side. So just rock the legs in that asymmetrical shape. 3 and 4. Now we're going to lift the upper body and we're going to do the same legs. Again, only the legs are the moving parts here. 3 and 4. And then we're going to do 4 where we meet the legs with the upper body crunch. 2, 3, and 1 more time, yeah. And then down we go, side to side with the knees. Give yourselves a little bit of like a windshield wiper with the legs. That just releases the lower back. All right, heels in close, and let's go ahead and rise up to that strong, steady bridge. And then we're just gonna soften from the upper back down to the tail. Great hip opener here for the hip flexor. Lift. As you rise up, make sure those knees are hugging parallel lines. Squeeze from where the butt meets the leg, and then rounding down top to tail. We're going to stay up here, making sure that the pelvis is in that neutral position here, and then we're just doing what we call a marching bridge. Try to keep the legs at the same height here. the hips haven't rotated, and you're just alternating that march. Taking the arms above the head here will be more effort through the oblique, so it's a nice challenge to pepper in, keeping the rest of the body nice and stable. Okay, bringing both legs up to a tabletop position, and let's do a little rollover prep here. So the knees are just tucked into tabletop, and you're using the lower abdominals to flex the spine and lift the weight of the legs. You can make that a little more challenging by decreasing the bend of the knee and allowing the feet to drop all the way down until they tap near or to the mat, only as low as your low back doesn't lift off the ground. All right, go ahead and send those legs all the way down here. Let's enjoy a nice forward roll up. Okay, and then we're gonna just get this little momentum here for that full rollover. And then as we come down through the spine, go ahead and chase the legs and get that nice forward roll up. I love this combination roll up, roll over. It's super limbering for the vertebrae of the spine, and it allows you to really just get some movement. Plenty of abdominal work here, I promise, but we are going to slow it down and make it working a little bit harder here. All the way over, and then take your time coming back down. Head stays down to the mat. All right, take those arms overhead, and we're going to come around and over onto our tummy. Let's get our forearms parallel with the edge of the mat, the legs wide, lateral rotation, and we're pressing up into that breaststroke 1. Inhale to lift up through the upper back, and then exhale, we lower back down to the mat. We are trying to leave the legs steady and without really engaging through the glutes. Focus on that upper thoracic spine here as you lift and return down. Send the arms to the sides, palms facing in, so the collar is nice and wide. We're going to float up on that inhale breath, and then exhale, we return. Floating up, breath in, and then exhale, take it down. Last time here, and then down we go. Let's fold our hands under the forehead. We rise on that exhale breath now, so we are reversing the breath here with the extra weight of the upper body and the arms combined. Lift on the exhale, inhale, return. All right, so let's go ahead and take that little shell stretch again, creating a lot of flexion through the lower back. Tuck those toes under, and we are doing that same forward and back, kind of like a knee stretch, a little bit like a frog. We're backward and forward, getting that burn through the quads, the awareness in the shoulder girdles, and of course some warmth and heat in the abs. It's a great warm-up, or as we're doing it here, to pepper it into your workout to just create a little more fire in the lower body. And then let's go ahead and we're going to just come down to those forearms if you need to, but otherwise we're going to stay on the hands for some hip abduction. We're going wide, kind of like your little doggy at a fire hydrant here. So we're going to lift and lower. Good, and then after 8, we're going to move into circles 2. So while you're circling, let's keep the rest of the body like a plank. 6, 7, and again 8. Good. And then we're sending it on this diagonal. So we're going to send the leg out straight, tap the ground behind the other leg, and then come up on a high diagonal. This works the glute med. So the shoulders are steady, the waist is on, and the rest of the body is still. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Doggy at our fire hydrant. Looks like you're opening a gate there in the side of the hip. 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to go into some circles, drawing the circle with the knee. We're just moving in that ball joint. It should be simple, but lots of awareness. On 8, we're going to get long leg, and then we go in that diagonal. So when we're diagonally reaching the leg up, try to avoid any lateral rotation there in the waistline. 6, 7, and again 8, and then we come down. Opening our feet hip distance, we're going to move right into that swim. So this is level 1, that alternating pattern with the majority of the body down on the ground, and otherwise you go right into your full body swim. We're really concentrating on our non-moving body parts here, and we're only alternating the arm and the leg through the shoulder and the hip joint. Find your rhythmic breath. And now we're going to open up, fold the hands behind the body, and then dive into a pool. Open the legs, open the arms, get that back extension, shoulder extension, dive into the pool. So in this case, both of these parts of the workout here in this particular exercise are the work. We dive in, we squeeze, we get a lot of upper back. Here we get a lot of upper back and glutes. So it's all great. It's all great for the posterior chain. Exhale, dive. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, dive. Getting that shoulder external rotation of the shoulders. And then let's bend the knees and windshield wiper. They go side to side. Always take it back and take a little bit of flexion there as you need to for your lower back. We're going to prop up onto our forearms here for some hip circles. So we're going to bring our legs to tabletop and then draw a large circle, more like an oval, with your knees. So you don't really want the legs to be wider than your mat. So we are drawing more of an oval. We want to keep the upper body fixed. Try this with the straight legs. Notice that the weight of the legs will pull stronger through the lower abs and then of course on the lower back as well. And then you can also try it propped up on your straight arms, trying to maintain that long upper back with a protected curl of the tail here. Inhale down and exhale around. All right, so right into that teaser, coming down to that long body, and up we go into teaser. Get your lower back down first, head and feet rise at the same time. Scoop and roll back. And then exhale breath, ascend your body up and hold in that V. All right, send the arms to the right, arms to the left, to the right, and then to the left, noticing that you really have that balance challenge here as you take your body weight down, but keeping the legs up, and rotate. And then just come forward, and again, just sort of note that stretch forward, compare it to when you started with the flexibility. Okay, and here we go, nice and tall, wide feet. We're rotating to 3, middle, 1, 2, 3. So think taller, 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 and again to the left. Keeping the legs steady, we're rotating from the rib cage up. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, let's take it all the way down. Just gonna tuck one knee in towards the chest and allow it to open just a little bit. So again, we're opening that hip, like that's the theme for today, but also the opposite leg, hip flexor. You can take the leg across the body for a lovely passive spine twist. And of course, the other leg, hugging that in. It's a great passive low back stretch here, and it feels so lovely. And then you can take it across the body here and alternate there with the arm in the opposite direction for a spine twist. And then we're going to go ahead and just come back to the center. Little side to side rock is my favorite in between here. Just massage the lower back. And look, we're right into hundreds. Breathe in through your nose and then breathe out through your lips. Inhale through the nose, exhaling through the lips. Whether your legs are bent or straight, we're going to press them together here, vigorously pumping those arms, sending heat throughout the entire body. This is where we concentrate on our non-moving body parts. Inhaling through the nose and then exhaling through the lips. And then we're going to take the hands behind the head. Let's hinge the legs up and down. So I like to put my hands behind my head here, as it not only gives a little support for the head, but then it keeps the upper body anchored down. Hinge up and lower. So if your hip flexors are screaming, we're going to laterally rotate those legs here. And then let's go ahead and put those feet down. Another little bridge whenever you have your legs up a lot. It's good stretch for those hip flexors. Okay, we're gonna make our way to our side for some clams here. Support your head, feet and knees together, and we're just lifting up from the knee. Shoulders, ribs, and hips are stacked. 7, one more time. And now we're gonna lift the leg and we're gonna go knee to knee and then toe to toe. Knee and toe. 3 and 4. So we're getting internal rotation and external rotation every time here. Good. And again. And then we're going to get that leg out. A little hot potato here. Heel, toe, heel, and toe. So again, internal and external rotation, but now with a longer lever, keeping the abs engaged. And again, long legs, top arm on the thigh for a full side body lateral flexion here. So we're trying to lift the head and the feet an even amount, and you can press down in the bottom arm there to get a little bit of flexion assistance. Think of the bottom leg pressing up against gravity to then carry the top leg with it, so you fire those adductors as well as the obliques. Okay, we are doing that goodness on the other side, of course. So get yourself situated, find yourself in a bent knee clam position, and knee up and down. Squeeze. 3 and 4. If you keep your hand on your waist, you'll feel those obliques firing. 7, and then we're going to hold it up, knee to knee, toe to toe, knee and toe, knee and toe. Think of the rest of the body all non-moving, keeping it nice and stable for that moving hip. And then we've got a nice long leg here, and we're going to do that internal rotation, hot potato, toe and heel, toe and heel. So again, we're just that ball joint in the pelvis. Try to keep everything else steady as we move the femur front and back, internal and external rotation. All right, side bend here, float up, and then return. Good. So we're squeezing up through the waist. We're getting the lateral flexion. We're getting the inner thighs, and we're working on our balance all at the same time. Good. And then we take it down. Let's go ahead and flip onto our stomachs here. We're going to connect the forehead to our hands, and we're getting some upper thoracic rotation. So I'm just sort of rocking from one elbow to the other. Try not to move your pants. You want to keep your hips down, your pubic bone down, and your legs still. And we're just getting the upper back rotation. Let's go up into that nice swan. Breath in as our chest is up, and then exhale, the legs are up. So this one is swan with a slow rock. We want to maintain that rocking horse position. So it's sort of like a competition between your lower body and your upper body. You're squeezing the muscles through the glutes and hammies, and then the upper thoracic muscles. We move into grasshopper. So legs up, 1, 2, 3, lengthen and reach. So exhale legs, inhale, 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 exhale, reach, inhale, upper body, tip, crisscross, 2, 3, long legs, and we rise up and then just take the chest down. Here's that side to side leg again for the mobilization and the relaxing of the low back. Let's go ahead and again repeat that quad stretch. Pressing down through the pelvis as we hug the foot in. Again, we are making sure that our knee is aligned with its own hip here. The rest of the body is motionless, relaxing, but the lower body is tense. Slide the foot in. Slide the foot in. It's like you're faking out that you're gonna just step forward, pull and pull, and pull and pull. Moving plank here. Pausing there just a little, pausing there just a little, and then go ahead and we're gonna come all the way down here, and let's take it all the way down to our backs. Little happy baby here. So the knees are soft, their feet are wide. Grab onto the feet if you can reach them, behind the knees if you can't, and give yourselves just a gentle, easy back massage. Feels amazing on your low back, your hips, your inner thighs, and everything in between here. Take those legs all the way down, side to side with those knees. One last set of windshield wipers here for the lower body. And then as you're able, let's go ahead and sit yourselves up, and you have made it. Thank you so much for joining us for today's class. If you'd like to see more like this, please like this video, leave a comment, share with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks again. Have a great day.